right, what's up, business builders? Coming at you with another training video for this week. What I want to talk about this week is how to basically shop other companies' best movers. So how could I strategically find at least some kind of information, which we're going to talk about, at least just finding a name. How can I find a name of someone that is a great mover at another company that I want to recruit from? And how can I start a recruitment plan on bringing people like that over to my company? Personally, for me, if you believe you're the best business in town and that you have the best opportunity out of anybody else nearby to come work for you, then personally, I have no animosity for running recruiting tactics such as this. As long as you do everything morally and ethically, something like this is not bad to do. So what are we doing here? Pretend that let's say I have a moving company in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, I can go on to Google and I'll go down to the map pack here and then I can hit, view all. And what I'm looking at are some of these major, top ranking moving companies. Oh, and I don't know any of these people. So let's say I click these guys and I want to find someone that's more of an established mover that has some, substantial reviews. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into their Google reviews. And most of the time what you're gonna see is customers will mention the first name of the guys that came and did their job. So a way to identify, and again, this doesn't give you a whole synopsis of the person, doesn't give you their phone number or email, but at least I know a name. So I can start coming down through here, and this one right away, 5-star review 2 months ago. So I know that guy that she mentions is probably still there, blah, 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 blah. Michael and his team were hands-on, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if Michael is a mover or a manager or an owner, but I scrolled way too high. But I can start looking into this, and then maybe I go down a little more. Doesn't mention any names. Let's see. Mike. So Michael's the owner. Okay, cool. Wesley, one of the longtime movers and a driver. Look at that. Look how much information we just learned here. There's a guy that works there named Wesley. He's been there for a long time and he's a driver. So what I'm gonna do is I might just have a little Google Doc and I might, make a little summary of some of this. There's a guy named Wesley that works at New Beginnings. And then when I hire a guy, and this is where this comes into play, and he worked at New Beginnings, I'm gonna say, hey, did you work with a guy over there named Wesley? And he's gonna say, oh yeah, I did. Man, Wesley's a good guy. Nice, man. Tell me about Wesley. And then I get a conversation going, and then the next thing I say is, do you think Wesley would have any interest in coming over here and working? And this is going to be, maybe after that guy's the guy you just hired, after his first week or two. But this is how you can really accelerate your ability to capture great movers from other companies. And at the end of the day, the best company with the best environment, culture, and atmosphere will get the best people. Always. So if you have a great culture and a great company and you offer a ton to your people and you do a lot for them and you serve them, people will come work for you. Trey and Carl, right? Their names are mentioned. I go down a little more. Blah, 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 blah. And I can do this for all the companies that are around me. And sometimes I might find a lot of information. Sometimes I might not find a lot. If the Google review was from 2 years ago, well, that guy may or may not still be there. And not all the time do they mention the guys that were on their job. The opposite, you can use this for the opposite. If there's a bad review, look at who's on it, because that can give you some insight. Boom, here it is again. Names mentioned, the same team, Wesley, Larry, and Josh. So Wesley has now been mentioned again. So what I'm looking for are movers that have been mentioned multiple times in 5-star reviews. That's usually a really good sign that person is a quality worker, and that's what I'm looking for. So you can see this is a bad review. I don't see any names mentioned. So this is just one strategy on how to start prospecting, in something that's a little bit unorthodox of a way. Again, this isn't necessarily going to give you a ton of information. All you're finding are names. Michael and St. Louis were my movers. I don't know if somebody's actually named St. Louis. Again, you can see it. Our moving crew is Jalen, Brandon, and Brian. Robert, Tyler, D, even more information there. Got a first initial of their last name, Debray and Mike, right? And again, this is going to come into Mike there. You see Mike C down here. This is going to come into play when you hire someone and they've worked at that company before. Now I've got a list of people that I can say, hey, tell me about, if I write down all these names, right, on a list, on just keep it on a Google Doc. And I hire a guy, and he worked at Hornet Moving, for 2 years, and he was there from 2018 to 2019. I can say, hey, do you know of a guy named Robert that worked there? Do you know a guy named Tyler? I think his last name started with a D, right? This is a way to prospect, okay? This one's, their people mention the people's names every single time. So just one little strategy. And again, you have to have a great place to work. If you don't have a great place to work, none of this matters. People won't want to come flood to your company. But if you're growing, you have a great environment, you have great leadership, you serve your people tremendously, and you have something that's better than what anybody else can offer, then this is a great strategy for you. So hope that helps. See you guys on the next video.